be able to feature them here in the Wild and Scenic Film Fest Media Lounge, including, she's kicking off the morning, we have Dr. Ann Willis. She's the California Regional Director of American Rivers. Hi, Ann.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing good. We were saying it's not just coming off the weekend, but it's been a full festival so far.
Absolutely. It's been a wonderful time meeting people coming to tell their stories about their relationship and lived experience with the environment, their hopes for their lives and their futures. It's been really inspiring.
So, Anne, you actually were leading a workshop yesterday, speaking of storytelling and the interconnectedness of how we're using storytelling, both shaping our culture, but on educating around what's going on, even in our own backyards.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us a little bit about your workshop and how it was received?
Absolutely. So I did a workshop called Healthy Rivers, Healthy Communities, and it was talking about how so often in the environmental community, we really focus on the environment without making space for the people, without talking about how people interact with the environment and really how people are part of the environment. We like to say you don't have to be a river person to understand an experience of healing that a person has when they're on a river. You don't have to be a river person to understand a person who's experiencing joy. These are universal human emotions. And so when we can tell the story of something that's so common, then we can help everybody understand why these places are important.
What would be a good example of that and how you're incorporating that with your work with American Rivers, like the key stories of
Absolutely. Well, a few stand out. One is a film we did a few years ago actually called Guardians of the River, where it was a film about the tribes up in the Klamath watershed and how since time immemorial they have stewarded the river, what that relationship looks like to live deeply integrated into the land. It was really touching and powerful, and Klamath is a hard place to get to, so you can't assume people really understand what it's all about. But when we can tell the story of its people, that's a way that everybody can connect. Another story we're talking about here is actually a film showing this afternoon, Romeo November, and it's a film about the Colorado River and climate resilient conservation that we're doing and how important it is to change our perspective from just seeing what's right in front of us to looking at a really big picture and what's universal to all of us.
What does your everyday life look like as part of being a regional director? With you chuckle about it. Is it I'm assuming it has some rewards in it too. Right?
Oh, every day is so fulfilling. I really feel like I'm doing all that I can to love these places that are special to me, to love places that are impactful to everyone, whether they know it or not. Most people don't know that 2/3 of all of our drinking water comes from rivers. Most people live within 1 mile of a river across the country. So even if you're not a river person, rivers have direct impact on you.
If you're not, we have to be river people because it sounds like it's what sustains most of us.
It is. Life depends on rivers, and that's our tagline because it is so deeply interconnected. But what my day-to-day looks like really varies. I could be talking to U.S. congressmen. I could be doing a field visit with staff and local collaborators. I could be working on an op-ed to just raise the profile of issues that people may not be thinking about, like how important dam removal is to a climate-resilient future. I could be looking at data to try and understand what is science telling us about where we can have the most impact. Or I could be doing something like this,
or
just out talking to folks.
Exactly. Right? So speaking of dam removal, it's certainly a very hot topic these days, and restoring places to their natural habitat. We have a lot of dams here. Do you know how many dams we have in California?
So in California, we have almost 1,500 dams that actually have names and are regulated. But if we then think about dams as also little bank-to-bank barriers that farmers or ranchers may use just for part of the year to divert water, we actually have thousands more. So
that's incredible.
There are a lot.
That's incredible. What do you want as a key takeaway for everyone who's joining us this weekend, whether it's here in person or joining us online and thinking about, okay, it's always, for me, it's like a reason to care and a solution to do. So thinking about, we talked a little bit about the reason to care, but what about the solution to do and how this pertains to all of us?
Well, the solution to do is to take action. One thing people can do is just go to the American Rivers website and sign up and say, I am part of a coalition of people who believes in protecting rivers, who understands that protecting rivers isn't just about restoring the environment, but also about healing each other. You can also get informed about your local river. If you don't know that you live within a mile of a river, find your river.
Find your river.
Find your river.
Our river here is the Yuba River, which really is so greatly celebrated. It's the heart and soul of our community here in Nevada County, especially Nevada City. It really is what prompted Circle to even be born, as Circle was key in protecting the Yuba River. So your own personal story in this too. I know you were a river raft guide.
That's right.
Way back when. I was a river raft guide, I think in the late 90s or something like that. Tell us about that experience and how that's propelled you into your work that you're doing right now.
Yes, well, I became a river raft guide after going on my first rafting trip as a college graduate.
Was that on the American River?
No, I did a 6-day trip on the Middle Fork Salmon in Idaho.
Wow.
It was completely magical. And
we were talking about the Salmon River through the what was it? The boats? Now the sweep boats.
The sweep boats.
Yes.
So impressive. So impressive.
So you were rafting down the Salmon River.
So I was rafting down the Salmon River. And the thing about multi-day river trips is after, I would say, about 3 days, you really hit this rhythm of the river where you don't really know what day it is. You don't even really care what time it is. There's just this pattern of moving with the world around you and knowing you're going to get there when you get there and having to just be so deeply immersed in the moment. It's a wonderful experience to just be present. And that was something I loved. It was a really powerful experience for me. That's just an experience I wanted to facilitate for other people. So I worked as a commercial raft guide for 4 years, doing those kinds of trips in California.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What do you want to tell everyone about why it's so important to engage and be part of Wild and Scenic?
Oh, I don't even know where to begin. I think it's because stories are so powerful. Before I really focused on rivers and river science, I was an English major and a print journalism major because the thing that I understood that was giving me insight into the world around me and compassion to the people, the world around me, were their stories, developing a real skill for listening and for hearing what people are saying and then being able to connect with them and understand was the best way to then know how to help them. So that's what I love about festivals like this. Thank
you, Dr. Ann. She's joining us right here at Wild and Scenic Film Fest. You might see her on the river somewhere. And again, find a river near you. Wild and Scenic is all about real action. So it's thinking about how each and every one of us can take action in our own lives and showing up in the best way possible. And then sharing those stories with others, because it really is stories that help shift the world that we live in and what we want to see. Thank you so much, Ann.
Thank you so much.
I'm Elisa Parker. It is the Wild and Scenic Film Festival, and we'll be right back. And thank you, Ann.